this is Arinak with another episode thoughts for Utono Prince-sama, Maji Love, 1000%, episode 3, and still very much loving this series. There's a little, I guess you could consider it a change up with how they kind of present this episode compared to the previous one. Even though with this episode we get to focus on Masato a bit more, but it's not as, I guess, strongly focused on him as it was on Otoya on the episode previous. But I think it kind of fits because Masato is a much quieter character where, you don't really get to see past, his kind of cool exterior very easily. But we do see a little bit of that with this episode. The main focus of it, though, is the fact that Haruka, she's kind of facing some bullying because of the fact that she's having trouble with, showing that she's actually skilled when she's in class. So rumors are kind of circling around that the only reason she got in was because of connections. And it ends up manifesting her nerves and stress and anxiety about that, and the fact that she just can't get herself to play the piano anymore at all. So we have her struggling with that, and it ends up being Masato who kind of comes to her rescue with that, as he goes ahead and he's able to find her when she's trying to practice alone, and kind of explain that he kind of understands what she's going through. He has actually had the same kind of experience, but with him it was with eating around his father, because his father was such a perfectionist. Masato would just kind of freeze up and not feel like he could do anything whenever he was around him. But for him, he luckily had a butler who was very kind and really helped him out when he was in need, and kind of taught him how to, learn how to play the piano and kind of instill at least the skill there, as we also find out that kind of his love for music more or less actually came from Haruka, as we learned that he actually had encountered her before coming to Sao Tome Academy, just by chance, where I guess she was just randomly leading a bunch of kids to sing Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, which I'm not sure what the scenario could possibly have been for that, but in the series it's usually best not to question. But in any case, he kind of was inspired by her, and hence why he's even at the school in the first place. And it definitely feels like his episode is also a bit of setup to kind of further his storyline a little bit more. Just because, like I said, it isn't so solely focused on him. We get little bits of his roommate, Ren, who definitely has some kind of invested interest in Masato, though it hasn't been made 100% clear yet what that is, even though from the first episode we know they are somewhat rivals and both come from wealthy families. But I have a feeling that we'll probably be moving into that, if not with the next episode, but in at least a near future episode, and see what that's all about. And of course, for the comedy of this episode, we have it pretty much given by Nachan, as he goes ahead and agrees to bake things on Otoya's request, because Otoya, he wanted to pretty much cheer Haruka up. He thought maybe presenting her with a cake would do so. I guess he believed Natsuki when he told him that he was a good cook, or maybe he just assumed he was if he mentioned that he liked baking. But as we find out, as apparently Sho had found out well before, it's a lie. It is a complete lie. He is beyond awful with it. But yeah, it brings in lots of levity, which is really great for this episode because, like I said, with Masato, he's a very quiet character that you don't get much emotion from whatsoever. So having, a scene like that, kind of helps bring everything up. Not to mention, like, the storyline itself. It's not a happy one. Bullying is never, a good, happy subject. So I definitely felt that was kind of a much needed, segment to have in this episode. Also, we get some other little kind of plot lines kind of touched upon. I think the other kind of major one happens to be with Tokiya, and we see him confront his teacher about how he was scored on their project and the fact that it wasn't nearly as high as he had hoped. And the teacher pretty much tell him that, he may have the technical aspects of everything down perfectly, but that's about as far as he goes. He needs to have a lot more, or like put more into it. And I'm not sure if he actually straight out said it needs to be an emotional impact as well, but if anything, just kind of stressed that he's just got the technical things down, and that's about it. And that's about, like, all he puts into it, and that's why he gets the lower grade. So I think it's pretty much assumed that that's going to keep kind of running, having that kind of focus on Tokiya and his problems. And I think that's one of the things I kind of really like about this anime series, is that even though it's based off of, a dating sim, it actually probably one of the better ones in the fact that, it doesn't do the usual, let's focus on, like, the one guy and then totally drop him to move on to the next. It is doing these, like, storylines that seem to kind of mix in with each other and can be, like, concurrent, which I rather enjoy, as it just kind of makes it a little bit more interesting than it was before. Or a lot more interesting than what it could be. And what it also kind of feels like there's definitely some effort put into this series, which I really appreciate, and sometimes it feels like these dating sim adaptions, whatever production committee is behind them, they're just kind of phoning it in. And this one, it actually kind of feels like, there's a little bit more to it. Like, there's some love put into it, which I think really shines through. But yeah, still really loving this series. Really can't wait to be done with at least the first two seasons, because, as I have just found out, there's a third season coming out, and I definitely want to... I'm not sure if I'll be done with my reviews here for the first two seasons to be able to review the episodes, or at least all of them as they come out. I'm hoping to at least get the last few as they come out set up for reviews, so hopefully that works. And I definitely want to be getting through this series as quickly as possible because I love it, and I just really want more. Every time I watch an episode, it takes a great deal of self-control not to just move on to the next, to actually kind of stop and do the review for it first. But enough about all that. I guess more technical on my side talk. I'll go ahead and wrap up. Thank you for watching. I hope you subscribe to my channel, leave a like or comment. Until next time. Bye!